Welcome to Serv's second car maintenance help video. Hopefully you caught the first one about checking your oil and your levels under your bonnet. Now we're going to talk about a very important part of your car, which is your tyres. Now your tyres are very important. They help you grip, they help you steer and corner, and the most important thing is of course they help you stop. A visual check of your tyres is the simplest thing to carry out, which you can easily do every day before you get in your car. Just have a glance around your tyres, give them a bit of a kick, make sure there's a bit of air in. We'll tell you about pressures in a moment. Make sure there's no bulges on the side wall of the tyre. That's the side round here. Make sure there's nothing hanging out with your nails or screws or anything. Okay, now as far as your treads are concerned, on the top of your tyre here, now there's a legal requirement here that your tyre should have a tread depth, and that is the depth of the groove in the tyre of 1.6 millimeters across a section of the tyre, 3/4 or 75% right around the whole circumference. Okay, now we would suggest of course that is across 100%, but your legal requirement is to have it over 3/4 of it. There's lots of ways, different methods of checking that depth. The simplest and most often used way is a simple tread depth gauge like this. Okay, now what this quite simply does, you press the end in there, so this thin part sticks out as far as it can, and you place that on the tyre with the point of that in one of the grooves, and you push down until the flat part reaches the rest of the tyre. When you pull that off, then you can read on this piece, it's a bit small for you to see there, but on here is all the measurements which will tell you the depth in millimetres. If I look at that, my tyres have 4 millimetres of depth, so I'm well legal there, no problem at all. Just to quickly show you, this is a very nice Dunlop motorcycle tyre, very similar, 75% of the tyre, unless you're a bike tyre where the brand new tread doesn't cover 75%. And at that point then, any part of that tread, same type of gauge can be used. The requirement on these is slightly different. They only need to have 1 millimetre of depth, but the same type of tread depth gauge will suffice, no problem at all. Now the other important part, of course, is the pressure. Giving it a kick, you'll know there's some air in it, but it's also very important to make sure you have the correct pressures, because again, that will affect your steering, and again, it will very much affect your braking. Now, from your tyre valve, the cap needs to be unscrewed, and again, there is various methods of checking. We have nice, simple, easy to use pressure gauges like this, where the small end would be pressed tight into the valve when you remove the cap, and the needle on the big gauge there would swing around and tell you exactly what pressure is in there. In your car handbook, it would tell you what pressure that should be. On the front and on the rear, always check, because quite often they're different. You'll get that measurement in either PSI or a bar measurement. Most modern gauges will give you both measurements to make it nice and easy for you. There is also some nice, simple to use digital gauges as well. Okay, these are very good. This one's around £10, and when you press it on a digital screen there, that again will tell you the pressure. So always very important to make sure that your pressures and your tread are really up to scratch. Don't forget now, 1.6 mil across 3/4 of the tyre. Thank you very much. See you again.